The Detroit Pistons land shooting guard Chaz Lanier in the 2025 NBA draft. What can we expect from the new Pistons rookie? Let's talk about it right here on Top Title Detroit. Let's go.
Perfect.
What's good? Welcome to Top Title Detroit. I am Eric Vincent, your host and Detroit Pistons beat reporter for ClutchPoints.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Before we get going, please help us grow the channel by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Seen a lot of good growth lately. I think we're just under 370 right now, and I think we can tag 400 just before the summer is over. So please tell a friend to lock in with us here at Top Title Detroit. I would really appreciate the love. Let's talk a little NBA draft, man. It just wrapped up. The 2025 NBA draft is done. The Pistons stayed at their 37th pick in the second round, and they landed shooting guard from Tennessee, Chaz Lanier. Very interesting pickup. I'm very, very high on this selection by the Detroit Pistons. You know, there was a rumor and a report actually confirmed by Trajan Langdon after the draft that he was interested in trying to move up into the first round, but it was really expensive to try to do so. And he ended up staying pat and finding a shooter, an extreme sharpshooter in Chaz Lanier that can be added to the Pistons' depth in their backcourt. I think this is an awesome pick for him. Chaz comes very decorated from Tennessee. One of the best shooters in school history. He even set a school record in knocking down 123 triples in the 38 games that he played in his final season of college basketball. Averaged 18 points a game in his final season. His first 4 seasons in college basketball, he played for North Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And he grew gradually as he was there. In his 4th season, he really turned things on. He was a 44% three-point shooter. Average, I think, just under 20 points a game for North Florida. He was all over the place. Very, very impressive. And his skill set transferred well over to the SEC when he went over to Tennessee. So, how is it going to translate to the NBA is the question now at this point. I think he's in a perfect position for it to do so. I think playing with the Pistons, playing in an environment and with a team that has a culture established for defense, running and working hard, taking smart shots, making smart shots, and creating opportunities for your teammates, I think this works perfect for a guy like Chaz Lanier. The Pistons are in a position where they need maybe another ball handler, but they also need different connectors for their offense as well. What do I mean by that? We saw last season guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, even Tobias Harris be good connectors for the offense. So the connection starts from a playmaking guard like Cade Cunningham, a playmaking guard like Jaden Ivey, a playmaker like Asar Thompson, who's good at secondary playmaking and sometimes self-creation off the first look as well. He does a good job of creating looks for open shooters, and so do the other 2 passers that I just mentioned, even Jalen Duren to an extent. So having those shooters around, they were the extra connecting piece to knock down open shots or even knocking down tough shots, which we saw a lot of from Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Tobias Harris as those veterans. Now you bring in a rookie who can help connect those pieces. Knowing that he's a high-volume shooter and a multifaceted high-volume shooter because he's good in catch-and-shoot scenarios, he's good at creating his own shot off the dribble, that's pretty impactful to have when you have passers and playmakers who command a lot of attention. Cade gets double-teamed just as much as any other player or star in the NBA right now, so what is important to have are targets for him to throw to so he can take advantage. Having lob threats in guys like Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson. Having shooters around like Beasley and now Chaz Lanier and Tobias Harris. Or cutters like Asar Thompson and Jaden Ivey. Those are the connecting pieces that I'm talking about. It starts at the top with your playmaker, and then you connect the dots with other guys that can take advantage of Cade or Jaden Ivey's passing skill sets. That's where these guys come in super valuable for the Detroit Pistons. And again, he's getting it from a guy that's a rookie as well. You had to trade for Tim Hardaway Jr. last season. You signed Malik Beasley. You signed Tobias Harris to pay them big money. Now you're getting a young rookie who's 24 years old, a little bit older for a rookie, but is coming in with an experienced skill set that he kind of perfected in college as a shooter. And if you aren't able to bring back both of those free agent shooting guards in Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, you now have Chaz Lanier who can kind of fill that void. Trajan did say that free agency didn't really play much of a factor when making his decision. I don't know how true that is because you kind of got to weigh those options in terms of your roster building, but I'll take his word for what he's saying. He's a pretty honest and open guy. I'll take his word for what he's saying. However, I do think this does give them the benefit of being able to lean on somebody else instead of having the aging veterans being those connecting pieces. Again, this is a different pick because for the last several seasons, we've seen the Pistons have to lean heavily on their first round picks. I think last season drafting Ron Holland and now drafting Chaz Lanier with the second round pick, I think they're in a position now where even though I think if his shooting translates quickly to the league, I think he can make an immediate impact, especially if he's playing defense. However, I don't think they're going to be leaning on him to be their like a savior of their shooting in the position that they're in now. After coming off a playoff bid for the first time in 6 years or 5 years or 7 years, this is the first time they've had since 2019 been in the postseason. And now when you're establishing a culture, when you have a foundation, when you have players that you know you can build around in Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Asar, Isaiah Stewart, like they're all filling in roles for this team. And when you have veterans that are kind of helping, fine tune those roles and their growth, it helps to have young rookies that you can also develop over time as well. So again, he could be valuable early, but I'm not expecting him to be a world saver for the Pistons right out the gate. He may spend some time in the G League. We'll see what he does in Summer League because it's kind of the same situation. You have young players in the Summer League that are going to be playing that all fill different roles. You have a multifaceted playmaking forward in a guy like Bobby Clintman who can shoot, pass, play defense, and create his own shot. You have a downhill scorer and a great defender in Ron Holland. And now you bring in Chaz Lanier, who's a shooter that can connect all that and give Pistons different areas to take advantage and create different scoring looks as well. I love this pickup. I think this is a fantastic pickup. I really wanted them to go after Proctor from Duke. I really thought he could have been a huge addition for this team. I think he went over to Cleveland, but Trajan spoke on wanting to add a shooter and adding guys that could do two or play at both ends of the floor. He said he's a high character player, very competitive, and that kind of fits along the mold of these Detroit Pistons. They don't like guys that can just do one thing. They want guys that could work their behinds off on both ends of the floor and give you value and production on both ends of the floor. And I think Chaz Lanier fits that. Again, he's shown the ability to be a great sharpshooter. He's shown the ability to have a little bit of athleticism in his game as well. I actually did a write-up about it on clutchpoints.com. If you guys want to check that out, please, I would really appreciate it. Also gave a grade on what I thought the selection was. To me, I would have to give it an A-. I think this is a huge pickup for him. I wanted them to try to get a power forward or a stretch forward. Like I really liked Fleming, but unfortunately he went at the top of the second round, to Phoenix. So they had to kind of lean back on another option. And I think this is a great pickup. I think this is a fantastic addition that fills a lot of needs for this team. And again, even with the Pistons being competitive right now, I still think they're in a position where they can develop young talent over time instead of trying to push all their chips in and focusing on the immediate winning product right now. They can still develop the young pieces that they have. A lot of their foundation guys, they're not complete players at this point. Jaden Ivey's not a complete player. Asar's not a complete player. Duren's not a complete player yet. Even Cade, I don't think has reached his ceiling of who he's going to be. A lot of these guys can still work and grow on a lot of these different areas of their game. And I think Chaz Lanier kind of fits in that exact same conversation. But if it translates quickly, we're going to see it as soon as Summer League. I'm very excited to see what he looks like over there in Vegas. But if it translates quickly, this is going to be a huge addition for the Detroit Pistons. Again, being able to have that guy that can create his own shot, knock down big shots like we saw in the tournament, like we saw in his college career, I think he's going to be a big addition for this team in a number of different ways. I really do. I love where this acquisition is, and I think this is going to take him in a perfect direction to add more shooting and adding more connectors to this team. Also, again, I wouldn't freak out too much about him being 24 years old as a rookie. I don't like buying into this narrative that if you draft them old, then they can't develop their game or become something different. I just don't agree with that. Like, people made that about Keegan Murray, and we've seen his game expand in quite a few different ways. Like, it's been a lot of guys that aren't drafted to be as 19, 18, or 21-year-olds, and they're just, gradually growing at the rate that you would expect. You can still do it at 24 too. Like, guys don't really tap into their like ceiling until maybe their mid or later 20s. So I'm not going to sit here and say that he's capped out and can't grow his game. He's going to put on some muscle. He's going to learn the game. He's going to learn the ins and outs of the NBA. And I think as long as he has the right culture and foundation and coaching around him, he'll be able to flourish and grow into a different player. And I'm excited to see what it looks like with the Pistons. But talk to me in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. How are you feeling about the Pistons drafting Chaz Lanier? If you could put a grade on the selection, what would you give it? I said A-. I would love to hear from you. What grade do you give the Pistons for picking up Chaz Lanier in the 2025 NBA draft? Very exciting draft this year. I've really enjoyed it, and I would love to hear you guys' feedback on it as well. Again, you can lock in on my work and check out the article I just posted about the Pistons drafting Chaz Lanier on clutchpoints.com. You can check it out right there. You can also tap in with me on my social media at I am Eric Vincent all over. Please follow me and tap in and lock in. I would really appreciate the support. And again, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel as well. I see us creeping up to that 400 mark, and I would really love to get there as soon as we can. With your support and your love, we can make that happen right away here at Top Title Detroit. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. I really hope you guys enjoy the draft. Go Pistons, and I'll see you again soon right here at Top Title Detroit. Peace.